Welcome to Cats in the Cradle, a growing bond between father and son. Please enjoy listening to us work through conversations about all the challenges life gifts us. I truly value the growth I experience alongside my son. We hope you enjoy the podcast. Welcome to Cats in the Cradle, a podcast between a father and son as we learn to navigate life. I'm Scott Carson.
I'm Oscar Carson.
And together, we are Cats in the Cradle.
Yes.
How are you, mate?
Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, not bad for a young fella.
Yeah.
Hey, why do you take a mushroom to a party?
Don't know.
Because it's the fun guy.
Sure. All right. I have my own dad joke. I was wondering why the frisbee was getting closer and closer. Then it hit me.
Oh, that's wrong. Well, that's our efforts at a bit of a dad joke to start off. But we're here to have a pretty serious conversation. But before we get into the big stuff, I've got a bit of a random question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Okay. Yes, it does.
Why?
Because it's just like, it's like the perfect combination of sweet and salty. Like you got to have that balance. Like the texture's just there.
The texture. What about the flavour?
It's just good.
Yeah. So pineapple does belong on pizza?
Yes.
That's official?
Yes, that's
Are you going to run
official.
with that?
Yes. Even though there is a website called Neil.fun where they've settled that pineapple does not belong on pizza, and 50, like a lot of people agreed with that, but it's just like, nah. I think the Hawaiians did a good job at that.
Okay, fantastic. And it was originated in Hawaii, the pizza?
Actually, was it?
No, Italy. But
like the Hawaiian pizza though.
the Hawaiian pizza, yeah, well, maybe. We'll have to do some research on that. All right, so that's a bit of a random question.
Yeah.
Have you got any for me?
My question is, what would you like to be remembered for?
Ooh. Great question. How did that question come about?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it. It's just like kind of understanding your life goals, kind of. And also understanding what you would want to be recognized for.
Okay. It's a great question. I think what I'd like to be recognised for,
Or remembered for.
remembered for.
Like, say if you die, what would you like? What is the thing that people want to recognize you for? Oh, that was the guy who did this.
That was a guy that put socks all around the world that made a difference,
Yeah.
you know, and actually connected with people's hearts. Who could believe a pair of socks could connect to hearts around the world?
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be too.
What would you like to be remembered for?
A tennis champion. That's like the dream.
Tennis champion. Explain that to me.
To just win just some sort of big event, like the Wimbledon, AO, the Spanish one. I don't know what it's called. Just there's one in
French
Spain.
Open, US Open.
Are they Grand Slams?
Yeah.
So I thought there's only 4.
There is. The Spanish one isn't a Grand Slam.
It isn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you're the tennis superstar, so
Yeah.
that's all
I
good.
want everyone.
So talk to me about that, right? Because I think that's something that's developed with you, actually, because you didn't have that dream.
No.
And now that you're at school and you're actually focusing on tennis, that's becoming much more of a focus. How does that feel?
Good. It's just I've enjoyed it a lot more now.
Okay, so why?
It's just fun. And it's kind of like because I've been playing more of it, I'm used to it being more fun and more of it like a daily routine.
Okay. So you play a lot of tennis now.
A lot, yes.
Yeah. What do you reckon you need to improve?
Not footwork, but that's a good question. Consistency.
Right. So remember the other day we were talking with the tennis coach down at Sandhurst, and he's come over and had a chat,
Yeah.
and he said that as you grow, your stroke goes out a little bit, and you've still got a bit of growing to do.
It's so annoying because my arm keeps on growing, and when I serve, I'm used to it being like here.
Yeah.
But now I have to like reach all the way. It's so annoying. And it's like every week my serve changes because my arms keep on growing. It's just like, it's just so annoying.
But I like that, right? Because you got to adjust with the change, And this is something that I'm learning too, because you take one step forward and you got to take a sideward step and adjust, and that's so much of what happens in life. Move forward, adjust, develop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm really proud of you for is because it's quite interesting. We talk a lot. We have a lot of different conversations, and we're going to get into some big questions in a minute. But with your tennis, you've recognised that you're starting to become frustrated.
Yes.
Yeah. And you actually asked for a mindset coach. And I was a little bit, that's going to hurt because I'm pretty big on mindset. But I also realised that it's better coming from somebody else than me at times, because although I'm your dad,
Yeah.
I don't actually want to have those arguments with you. I just want to support you.
But I actually think that you doing that, even though you if you only feel a little bit concerned, I think that it's better for me to be able to recognize that I need one instead of just denying it and then realizing that I've done something really bad, then knowing I have to get one.
Yeah.
Where if I know I have to get one at the early stages, it means that the problem can be fixed easier.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, look, you're 12 now, coming on 13 next year.
Yeah.
So your body's changing, you're going through puberty, you've got all these things coming up. And one of the things that will change is the emotions.
Yes.
So frustration and anger, as you get more testosterone, that's going to turn up more. So I'm very proud of you for recognizing it and actually taking the responsibility and say, hey, Dad, listen, I'm getting super frustrated at the minute. I need to get help with this.
I wouldn't say it's frustration, but I just say it's just less tolerance for just bad behavior. Just like things, just if it annoys me, I have less tolerance to let it happen. So before I was used to be soft, but now I don't want to deal with it.
Do you think that's because you got more ambition and winning?
Not winning. I just think it's that with Andy, he told me that I need to stand up for myself more often.
Yeah.
So I think that's just starting to come about now. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I generally think it's me just thinking that. Not thinking. I think it's me just trying to not get angry at myself or my opponent. I just want to be able to look. For me, tennis is. I don't want it to be an angry game. I just want to play tennis, either win or lose, preferably win. But
yeah, gold. Well, can I investigate this a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you standing up for yourself, right? You went through primary school and you did in some places, but there's also other places you had to learn to deal with quite a bit of bullying and frustration, right?
yes.
So with that in mind, what's it like now choosing to stand up for yourself a bit more?
I don't really know. It's just like a fight or flight situation.
Explain that.
It's just natural instinct. I don't know. If I get frustrated because my opponent or someone is just doing, basically it's just, if they're doing something just to annoy me, and they're not even they're just doing it just because they want to, that's where I just go, that's not fair. But if they have some sort of reason and because they're having a hard time, I completely understand that. That's it's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to be angry at the person, just for no reason.
Is that only showing up in tennis for you, or is it showing up in other parts of your life as well?
A lot. I wouldn't say a lot. More at school.
Explain that.
I think that kids, their parents aren't as open, so they don't have the freedoms to express how they feel. So that goes into unconsciously making decisions just to, what do you call it? That's the, I know what it's called. It's like the thing where you're in pain, but you put someone else down. It's like a cycle. So basically, if I was to put you down, you'd put someone else down to make you feel better. And I'd feel better for putting you down. So it's just an endless cycle of negativity where we could do something positive and switch it around.
Okay. So how do you process your negativity? What is it? What are the steps that you take?
Referring to on court or not on court?
in life. We're aiming for life. Rather
Okay.
than tennis, we look at life. So what are the steps you put in place? If you find yourself getting frustrated, what do you do?
Honestly, this is so random, but I ask myself, why am I frustrated?
Yeah.
Because like, if I can't generate an answer, then there's no point being frustrated. So
Bang
it
on.
helps me just like process that. And if there is a particular reason, then I deep into the question more. Why has that frustrated me? Or, like, how should I respond to that?
Curiosity.
Yes.
Okay. Where did you learn that?
No, just naturally. Or probably from you, but
But also Ted Lasso. Like we've watched Ted Lasso, right?
a lot.
A lot. And that's one of my favourite TV shows of all time because of the way in which they communicate. And I like to think that I'm a pretty reasonable communicator. How much influence has that TV show had over the way in which you think?
A lot, actually.
Yeah. Why is that?
I've seen it a lot. Makes sense. It's a good influence.
Yeah.
No. I think I just do stuff like that unconsciously.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like your environment, your surroundings improve. No, not improve. They determine your input determines your output.
100%. And that's something we've been pretty focused on the majority of your life so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel having that sort of responsibility?
Good. I think that if you're ready for the responsibility, it's good to take it on, and it's good to see if you can handle it.
Yeah, cool.
Should we get into the questions?
Yeah, if you're ready to move on, absolutely.
yeah.
So now we've got a big question each that we'd like to ask. And do you want to go first?
I have a lot of two-parters. Okay.
Now, clearly, this is the age discrepancy. You're sitting there in front of a computer, and I've got pen and paper. So,
Is it okay if it's like, okay, what was a big regret in your life?
Great question. One of my biggest regrets is not loving your mum enough when she was pregnant with you. Yeah. I was a pretty reluctant father. I didn't actually want to be a dad, mainly because I didn't think I'd get it right. I thought I'd really muck it up. And I've only ever held one baby before you, and I didn't really want to hold it. Just fragile little things. They're gorgeous, and that was Toby, your cousin.
Yeah.
And it really freaked me out. So when my mum was pregnant, as she got bigger, I got really scared to touch her. I got really cautious around that, and I didn't know what to do. If I had my time again, I would have loved her more and comforted her more, because it was such a difficult time. I truly appreciate what her body went through, and I was actually looking at her naked one day, and she's got the C-section. Look at your eyes. But she's got the C-section scar, okay? And I looked at that, and I just said to her, I said, thank you so much for scarring your body and the impact you've had on your body for our family, because it's a big thing for a woman to go through a pregnancy. They get the stretch marks, they go through a lot of different things, but then to have a forever scar from where you came out, I've got a real appreciation. But if I had to say I had one big regret, that would be it.
What was the values or beliefs that led you towards that decision?
Well, that's interesting. Why would you ask that at that point? Because not from a frustration point, but an understanding as to why. Because I appreciate that question was preempted, and you sort of sat with that, right? Values and beliefs.
Or understanding at the time?
I think that's a good question. I was really focused on work and getting things done. So I probably valued bringing in income and working hard. I was actually pretty scared, to be honest.
Yeah.
Values and beliefs?
Weren't really a part of it.
Well, they were, because the decisions I made were based upon what values I had back then. And I was a very different man back then. You would know that.
Yeah.
Drank a lot. Yeah, partied a lot. And that, I was reckless. I was just, yeah. Great question. You're actually making me think quite heavily right now. And I really appreciate that. I definitely wish I had loved your mum more. She deserved that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do I keep on going, or do you want to go?
No, I've got a question. Is that enough answers for you on that, or do you need more detail?
That's okay.
You've really made me think about that.
Yeah. I try to make the questions depthful, just to make, not to make it more interesting, just to get a better understanding.
Yeah. So that's what you're looking for in your questions, to get a better understanding about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I appreciate that, because that's, for me, the rawness of this is to ask me anything you like. Yeah, because I think the most important thing that you and I have in our relationship is that honesty, you know, and that's been the foundation of fatherhood for me at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we've had to have some pretty tough conversations, you know, so that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, do you mind if I share the story about the invisible chain right now? Start at episode 1, because I think this is something that, one, I'm really proud of, but two, it's been such an integral part of the journey between you and I. How old were you when we first talked about the invisible chain? How long ago was that, you reckon?
5?
5. Yeah, I reckon that's about right. So the invisible chain is a link between you and I. And the chain is there and it keeps us together. Now, that chain we hope to always have there, but we can break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can break it by not being truthful, having, not being able to work through situations, letting each other down, getting angry with one another, driving nails into one another, which is something we talk about a little bit. But we can repair it, right? But when that chain breaks, you weld it back together and you can see it, right? So we have a few welds in our chain, don't we? That we've had to repair things.
I wouldn't say weld. I'd say that there was a massive sword and it was just hanging by that little thread.
But we fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, we welded it back together. But if we keep breaking that chain, it'll get to a point where that chain can't be repaired.
Yeah.
And that chain is the link between you and I. And that's the most important link that I have in life, is the chain between you and I. How do you feel about that chain?
Good. Yeah.
Has it given you strength?
I don't know strength. I just think it's helped me make better decisions. In a way, it's not like it's a punishment. It's a way of understanding the consequences of the actions. Not as in like I don't get grounded. I'm just saying the consequences of, say, if you steal something, the consequences is A, the everlasting regret. B, not only is it bad for you, it's also bad for the store. So say the store could go down, and karma is a big thing. So it's just thinking about those things.
So if I can get some clarification around that, are you looking at, because you haven't stolen, so we haven't had to have that conversation at this point. We haven't had to have that conversation. I hope that we don't. But are you talking about the way in which you and I work through difficult situations?
Wait, can you elaborate?
Yeah. So I felt that you were just saying that you're trying to use a scenario in which the chain would be broken,
Yes.
and you were trying to share how we would work through that problem.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, the chain is the biggest thing for me. Is how I choose my decisions. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So your decisions will impact how that chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, cool.
Do you have any questions for me, or do I keep on going?
No, I really do have a big question for you. Like a really big question, but I just want to go into that. I just want to recognize the fact that you understand how the chain works.
Yeah.
That that impact of having things go wrong
Yeah.
will impact that chain.
Mhm.
So I would like, and perhaps next episode we'll actually open up about how we work through problems. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Because I
Maybe
think, hey,
the next one or the next one after that.
yeah, cool, no worries. Well, are you okay if I ask a really big question? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I've been saving this one for the first episode because it's really important to me. What do you think I can do better as a father?
As a father. So I'm contemplating that. It's a big question. It's a huge question.
I appreciate you taking time to consider your answer.
I think that not letting things stand.
Can you explain that to me?
So with the situation with Cornish,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it's just, even though I said no, there are some times where you do need to push in the boundary, like with the physical part of it. The emotional, like it's not okay, but like it's just when it gets to a point where it's just not acceptable, put your foot down.
So you'd like to see me be more assertive when it comes to that?
When it comes to the bigger things, if you feel
Yeah.
that it's affecting me and you can see it, then
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
I'll understand after. I won't understand that time, but I will understand after.
Yeah. So that's interesting because do you mind if we go into that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were some things that happened at primary school that really caused some damage, and I gave you the power to deal with that, and I asked you whether or not you wanted me to step in.
Yeah.
And my theory on that was, the moment I step in, I take away your power,
Yeah.
and I'm really proud of the strength that you have around things. I will take that on notice though, because I think that's. Is there any other parts of my life that you've seen me not put my foot down?
Yes.
Which times?
This isn't about fathering, it's about your personal well being.
Yeah, perfect.
Taking on board too many things. Like say, I've just seen you like just absolutely wreck yourself. Like just do like help people, great. But like there's no point helping people if you can't do it, if you can't even help yourself. Does that make sense?
Can you give me an example?
So I'm just thinking, sorry.
It's fine.
And I think an example would be, like, say, I think that you're taking on too much stuff with, not cause like, I feel like you're taking on too much stuff with outsider things, you know? Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying you are, but I think you have a tendency to be biased to some situations where you have a tendency to specifically help that person, which is great. Like I I'm all for that. But it's just you also have to remember that you are the biggest priority out of everyone
Why do you see that as important?
because it holds a lot of things. Because you alone, on average, you'd say you'd help 50 people. Or like, how many, in your opinion, how many people like do you hold together? Like, or like just keep them alive?
Quite a few.
Yeah. So, by you wrecking yourself, it's kind of like if there's a zombie apocalypse and you have a team of people, you have the fire people and one doctor. The doctor can keep the whole team alive, but the firing squad can only defend themselves. The doctor is the main asset. You're the doctor.
Yeah.
If you go down, everyone else goes down.
I like it.
So you have to remember, like, to keep making sure that you're not going overboard.
What do you suggest I do?
Just say no. Or not even that, just take a break, you know? Like, just say, tonight, I just had enough. I was going to put my foot down, put my phone on silent. That's it.
Okay. So do you see me taking on too much? And I'm presuming, so correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but taking phone calls whenever instead of,
Like, an example is when you get a phone call at 12 a.m. when you've only had 30 minutes sleep and you only have 3 more hours less of sleep. I understand that's important. I understand that they need help, but it's just there are other factors, like you getting sleep so you can help the people that you need to help. It's not, like, unfortunately, it's not your responsibility to help everyone. You just need to help the people that you can.
I really appreciate your honesty there.
Yeah.
You know, some parts of, can I, like, without, I'm not trying to justify anything, but I just want to share my experience in this, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when someone's going to need help.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you are that last line. Yeah. I'm lucky enough to be able to support people in that moment. How does it feel for you when I actually do that?
Bad.
Why?
I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like, I just feel like sometimes that it's okay if I not project but just assume something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like sometimes you think that you just sometimes were having an easier life. As in, not with me, but just as in, like, having a job where, say, you don't make a lot of money, you just live on your own. Like, life's easier, like, more simpler. Where you don't have to take on the big responsibilities.
If I didn't take on the big responsibilities, I wouldn't get the goodness in life.
Yeah.
So that's a real challenge, yeah?
Yeah.
Because responsibility is a pretty big thing. Like, when we talk about things, we always look for our responsibility in something.
Yeah.
What can we take responsibility for?
We're running out of time. Is it okay if I just ask one more question to end it?
Yeah. Do you feel I've answered your stuff? Or do you have any more questions around that?
No, I have one question.
Before you do that, is there anything else you think that I could do better?
No, I think you're a pretty good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
The freedom I have,
Explain that.
the voice, and the effect that I have an opinion on me, the family, like, even what I want to eat. Like, I have the choice of, like, picking the foods that I want to eat, picking my own diet, you know? Like, that's only just started, but still.
Yeah.
I have the choice, and I have the ability to make the responsibility for myself.
Yeah. Do you understand the importance of why we place importance on that?
Done?
Do you understand why we place importance on you taking responsibility for yourself?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because if I don't learn now, when am I?
Yeah, 100%. So we're getting on in time. This has been really interesting. I've really loved your question about regret. That really took me in somewhere that I didn't expect to go, and I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learnt tonight?
Honesty is the best policy. Like, and I should say, but like, I understand that a little bit more better now
How so?
by you being so honest with me.
How did it feel hearing about your mum?
Good and bad.
Explain that.
I can understand why mum is mum.
Yeah.
Helps me understand her. Helps me understand you better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brilliant. Is that okay if I share all that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, perfect. So I sort of felt like you asking that question, you had concern for me, that I'm pushing too hard.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. I appreciate the care. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we grow through this podcast, because you are open and honest and considerate with what you say. So I'm really looking forward to how this goes.
Yeah.
From my heart to yours, mate, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this continues.
Yeah.
All right. How do you want to wrap up tonight?
Thank you for watching.
I'm going to go thank you for listening. That's Cats in a Cradle. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we look forward to bringing a lot more to you. If you've got questions, you want to ask us to discuss them, we're more than happy to do that. It will be real. It will be raw. Nothing is actually rehearsed. We turn up with a question for each other. A bit of a dad joke. One question that's a big question, one question that's a little bit left of field, and then we'll always summarise our conversations. So we look forward to you joining us. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to a podcast that is creating a stronger bond between a father and son. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel to give us encouragement to do more. If you really like what we are doing, we would love to talk to you about sponsoring an episode, or even better, a season, so that we can continue to share our journey. Reach out to Scott at ihopeyouaresmiling.au@gmail.com. We hope you are smiling. Thanks for listening.